Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome back to Crypto Hash Review, where we educate and disseminate information about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies from a Muslim perspective. My face looks sweaty. I can see the shine. I need some powder. Yeah, the Noor is literally this and that. That's the Noor. It's not me. Alhamdulillah. Ahlan wa sahlan. Let me put this on Do Not Disturb mode. So yeah. Apologies for munching away on an apple. I've only had one egg and one slice of bread. And I did exercise this morning, some core exercise. Gotta keep fit. And I'm a bit hungry. I just finished my Arabic lesson, so they're back on track now. Yeah, so let's begin. So, a brief reminder. We have to make a reminder for the believers, the mu'minun, about shaitan. Shaitan is haris. Shaitan is eager to cause dissent, eager to spread evil, eager for adawa, enmity and hatred to be spread amongst the Muslimin. And often this takes place by shaitan gaming us on our own failings and weaknesses. So we have our own failings, we have our own weaknesses. Maybe we're impatient, maybe we have we can do better at anger management. Maybe maybe we're obnoxious. Maybe we've got some arrogance in us. Maybe we're dismissive. Maybe there's so many things that we could be and have failings that we try to fix, aim to fix, hope to fix. But you can never really get rid of everything. So we try our best in the end of the day. We try our best to improve our attitude towards life, and so on and so forth. So sometimes shaitan could game us on our own failings and use it against us. What do I mean by that? So let me give you an example. Imagine you had a bad day. You was at work, your boss is giving you jip, you got employees who are not doing their work, you've got you got your teenage kid acting like a moan. So your day's been a bit rough. And then someone is driving along, comes up in front of you in a car, and your reaction is to swear at them and shout down and beep the horn and swear at them or not. Now, is that because you're an evil person and you that's what you do? Or does shaitan game your already existing frustrations and force you to, not force you, astaghfirullah, that's almost blaming him for your problems, and encouraged you to react the way you did? And this is what I'm talking about. Shaitan gaming your emotions, catching you at a particular time when you're at your most weakest and using that against you. Where the other guy who cut you up, he's thinking to himself, look at that evil so-and-so swear at me and carrying on. All I just came out in front of him. It's just minor. So you're thinking all the worst things you could think about this person. And really and truly, all it was is that you were the camel that brought the straw that brought the camel's back. As in, you were that one thing that took the person over the edge, and then shaitan gamed you and made you more than what you are. So this is some of the things that can happen to us as human beings. I mean, to be always aware of this as it relates to our daily lives. And that can even affect us, even in, because this channel is Crypto Hash Review, and this discussion about crypto, isn't it? This can also affect us in crypto. Now, the thing is, we know that Shaitan wants to annoy us and get on our nerves and cause us to fall into sin. And one of the ways of achieving that is doing exactly what I just said, gaming you on your already existing situation. So, I mean, you might think to yourself, yeah, Shaitan wants me to commit sin, but why would he interfere in my crypto investment or my trading or whatever? I mean, that's not exactly a thing. Why would Shaitan be bothered about my bank balance? Well, it's because that's when you're at the most vulnerable. If Shaitan can give you and increase your anxiety and cause you to stress out and lose faith in Allah and trust in Allah when you're at your most vulnerable, when are you most vulnerable? When Bitcoin has gone down 50%. When it's spilled over and it's revisited all the levels, that's how Shaitan can catch you. And on top of that, Shaitan can give you more waswas. You know what, this Bitcoin thing, it's a scam. This Bitcoin thing, it's nonsense. Why even invest in this thing? Go back to fiat. Go back to fiat, where things were cool, where things were happy and great. Hold on. Yeah, that's fine. Sorry, I'm just chatting to someone. Yeah, so Shaitan can get to you when you're trying to get those Satoshi, trying to build your sats and give you wiswas and encourage you to return back to fiat. So the question is, why did you leave fiat in the first place? Tell me that. Tell me in the comment section below. Why did you leave, or why do you want to leave fiat? I know some of you actually don't want to leave fiat. I know some of you don't. I know some of you love the fiat. You love the dollars. You love the pound. You want more of it. And you're only into crypto so you can get more pounds. Hadakallah. May Allah guide you. But for those who want to leave fiat and don't want to go back to that life, why? We see one brother here says riba, inflation, war. Exactly. So, but Shaitan's calling you back. When Bitcoin takes a little revisit of an old friend, when Bitcoin revisits 30,000, this old friend he had a while back, he's like thinking to himself, oh no, I'm losing that fiat. That's really what it is. That literally is what it is. When people get scared and they panic, it's because really and truly, they haven't got the fiat out their heart yet. There's still that feeling in their qalb. There's still a little bit in their qalb that they want the fiat. And don't get me wrong. I feel it as well. Probably not as much as maybe some of you guys, but yeah, I mean, you think it's, Bitcoin's gone down, damn it. Nah, I can't do this and can't do that, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so Shaitan could game you in your earnings and make you sell your Bitcoin out of fear of the markets, fear of losing that fiat. And then when you sell and you think you're safe, because somehow, for some reason, some of you guys think that safety is in fiat. For some reason, I don't know why. And you think you're nice and safety, then Bitcoin returns back to where it used to be. And you think to yourself, bumpage. I got bumped. Oh no. Now I have to buy back in Bitcoin at a premium. So I previously had one Bitcoin, now I've only got half because I sold low and I'm now buying high. That's not how you invest. You don't sell low and buy high. But it is what it is. So, anyway. So, what I'm saying here is, Shaitan is haris. And we need to recognize how Shaitan can game you, how he can manipulate you, and make you react irrationally. Make you act rushed. Rush into giving opinions, rush into making judgments, rush into making a decision. And what's interesting, I never really talk about the charts and trading. I don't advise people to do it. Now, some may ask, do you trade, brother? Do you buy those shit coins and then sell them to get more Bitcoin? Is that what you do, brother? Yeah, I do actually. I have my bag of altcoins, unfortunately, but on a short-term thing. So why do I tell no one else to do it? There's a reason. There's a really good reason. Because they're useless. They have only one function, for me anyway, and that is to get more Bitcoin. Now, so why do you tell others not to do it? Because inexperienced people who can't manage their emotions, Shaitan games them and gets them to lose their Bitcoin. And that's not, you don't want people to lose their Bitcoin. You want people to gain more Bitcoin. Don't say the S word, akhi, ain't too appropriate. Yes and no, brother. That's not a discussion. We'll come to that another time. I'm not going to get to that now. I'm getting distracted. But if those who don't know what the person's saying in the comment, they're talking about the word shitcoin. Yeah, I know some people are not used to that. But again, put that aside. We'll discuss that another time. Maybe in the question and answers you can ask me about that. But right now, I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll at the moment. Yeah. So, if a person is trading anything with stocks, commodities, gold, whatever the case may be, and they don't know what they're doing, what they actually do is that they'll buy at a certain point when they feel good. I feel this is the right time. But the question would be then, okay, why do you feel like it's the right time? What caused you to want to do that? Why did you buy Dogecoin? Why did you buy Cardano? Why did you buy SafeMoon? What convinced you it was the right time? And often, it's down to just pure emotion. They saw it going up and they said, oh wow, the train is moving. Let me jump on the train and catch a ride, innit? So I'll buy here and I'll sell up here and I'll be a millionaire. Great. So they do that. And the markets is such a way, it's a beautiful thing. The markets is such a way that it's almost as if it's waiting for you. You know when they say, some people might say, they describe the markets like it's organic, like it's alive. And the markets are alive, by the way, Ikhwan. The markets are very much alive. How are they alive, brother? Because they behave or they react to human behavior, human actions. It's not like, you know what it is? It's not like, you know the old days when you had TVs and had, when you turn a knob and you hear that just static, that's random noise. Yeah, that's just random noise. There's no way to predict how it would look in any given second. It's random noise. Whereas markets, although it may seem random to the untrained eye, they are actually reacting to stimulus. Human beings look at they look at the charts that you're looking and they react because they're human beings. And their reactions manifest themselves onto the charts. Their reactions and their behavior manifests itself on the charts. So back to the point. So you might buy at this point because you feel it's a good point, because you see it going up and you want to just buy in and go on up and yeah, safe moon, we're going to the moon. So you buy at this point here, and as almost like the market is waiting for you specifically, then it comes down. Or maybe it might even gain you some more. You bought some, it continues going up, you go, oh, it's got some, want to buy some more, and you buy some more, and it gains you some more. Oh, look at it, it's going up, and you buy some more. And once the market is ready to teach you a lesson, then it comes down. And then now you're looking at red. You're no longer in the green, you're in the red. You're losing Satoshis. You're losing Bitcoin. Bitcoin is dying. And then you start selling. And then you don't know, and then you sell at a loss. And then it starts going up again, you buy at a profit and blah, and basically it's like that. So the point is that you can be gamed by your actions. You could be gamed by your actions. And I think we have a special guest here. Yes, we do. A special guest. Do we or do we? Do we or don't we? Do we or don't we? Yes, we do. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban ya fadilat al-Sheikh al-Fadil. Ahlan wa sahlan. Alhamdulillah.
You're a little young brother only.
I didn't call me again.
I said just your young brother. That's it. Not today.
Alhamdulillah. Let me just turn the comments off because I don't want people to get distracted with people chatting. So comments coming off right now. Okay, cool. So I was just saying before you came in how shaitan can game the human psyche, the human being. Maybe a person had a rough day. Maybe a person has been a bit annoyed. Maybe a person is worried about his job. And there's something that day may trigger him to act irrationally, to act unlike his normal self. And that's when shaitan is happy. He's like, yes, I catch him again. I catch him again. I caught him today like I caught him yesterday. And now I'm going to make him embarrassed. I'm going to make him do this. I'm going to make him do that. And that's what shaitan does. And that's what shaitan did to me. Shaitan does to all of us. So I'm happy to have you here today, brother, because I'm sure everyone knows you and I had an unfortunate spat, which was unnecessary on both our behalf. And it was something which it could easily have been avoided. But like I said before, shaitan gamed the human psyche and gamed the human individual. And it wasn't right. It wasn't right. And maybe someone's asking, what are you talking about, brother? What are you talking about, Muawiyah? Well, as maybe some of you don't know. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Can hear you again. Sorry.
Yeah.
Something happened.
So as I was saying to yesterday, brother Sheikh Faiz and I were speaking privately, and basically that was the reality of our situation. I haven't spoken to Sheikh Faiz directly myself before, and he not this before. We've spoken on DMs, but not directly like that. And I think even what made it worse is that when I made a comment on his feed, it was from an unusual account. I mean, I spoke to him before on my Muawiyah account, but then I made a comment on another account with some other person. Who's this person commenting and he's saying, brother, why are you spreading lies? Why are you spreading lies, brother? Astaghfirullah. So then, you know, things escalated and it was unnecessary. And I think what I invited the Sheikh here to share his feedback and his knowledge, so we can all benefit from the situation, is that we all need to take lessons from ourselves and from other people's mistakes. And from this lesson, I think, is to nuhsin al-dhann bil-ikhwan. Have this husn al-dhann, have this good thoughts of each other, that maybe someone who speaks in a particular way, it might be reasons besides him being an idiot. Besides someone being silly and whatnot, maybe it could be other reasons that are justified or not justified. And I want to publicly apologize to Sheikh Faiz for some of the way in which I approached him and some of the things the way I spoke to him. I said to the Sheikh that, you know, generally speaking on Twitter, I'm always replying to people with responses and everyone's always chatting rubbish and I'm always saying, astaghfirullah, don't do this, don't do that. And sometimes I get a bit harsh in my approach and it's due to annoyance, but that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse whatsoever. And as the Sheikh himself said to me, good adab is always required with your brothers in Al-Islam. So, you know, I wanted to make that issue clear to the people and make it known that there is no animosity or enmity between me and the Sheikh. Both love each other for the sake of Allah. And I think the Sheikh is frozen. The Sheikh is gone. The Sheikh is gone. Where's the Sheikh gone? Subhanallah. Hopefully the Sheikh will come back. Hopefully the Sheikh will return. Will he return? Will he return? We'll put the comments back on if I see if he jumps back in the conversation. What a name. In jail, out soon, 2025. Okay.
Hey, bro. I'm
Sorry
back.
about that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear Hamza. So I spoke enough. I've given everyone an introduction to our. Hopefully, it's a reminder to everyone about help repel shaitan from gaming us. So, Sheikh, تفضل مشكورا. If you have any, give some nasiha to us.
Allah barak feek. I just wanted to add on what you said. I'm sorry, I think a portion of what you said I didn't hear because of the connection. I had to use VPN to get online and do this live session. This function is not available in the UAE. But I just want to add that people shouldn't underestimate how the tricks of the shaitan can get to us and how he can play games with us. SubhanAllah, if you read in the seer of the ulama, this happened even to big scholars, big imams. Bukhari, rahimahullah. Bukhari, we all know Bukhari. No. He had a huge fall down in his time with his sheikh. And his sheikh made tabdi' on him. And he told people not to go and sit with him. And whoever sits with Bukhari is a mubtadi'. And nobody sits with him. And everybody started, leaving him out, or, nobody considered him as a sheikh, except, of course, Imam Muslim. Imam Muslim said, no, he's on the truth and you guys are being unfair to this person. I'm going to go and sit with him. SubhanAllah, now we have Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. Allah alhamd. No. Bukhari, he died. Like 4 people who prayed janazah on him. Bukhari, only 4 people prayed janazah on him because of this fitna. What I'm trying to say is never underestimate how the shaitan can play tricks and can make this ummah divided, even with big scholars. Because there is ilm and there is nafs. And the nafs sometimes can take over. Even though we have ilm, even though we have taqwa, even though we have whatever. والنفس أمارة بالسوء سبحان الله. والنفس أمارة بالسوء. No doubt what happened was something that's unfortunate, but walillah alhamd, alhamdulillah, always, أولا وآخرا, that we realize what happened. And this is not how people who have a bit of knowledge, I'm not a sheikh, he calls me a sheikh, but he's very generous to me, brother Sheikh Muawiyah.
أنت الشيخ.
لا. Allah, maybe you mean the gray hair? Yeah, okay, I get it now. I get it. All right, is that we're gonna play it now? Okay. I'm just joking.
Alhamdulillah.
So this was unfortunate, but alhamdulillah, we rectified it. We're here, we're laughing, we're talking, and I'm just saying, life is not worth it. We are Muslims, and life is not worth it. These things are not worth it. We have the same aqeedah, we have the same manhaj, we have the same religion. That's good, and that's enough. We're going to disagree. That's fine. Everybody's in disagreement.
I'm the same mashayikh as well.
Absolutely, exactly, and hence the same manhaj, the same sources of understanding and knowledge and even manners. Alhamdulillah for that, and subhanallah, yani, sometimes not a very good analogy, but sometimes even a wife and husband get they fight and they quarrel, but khalas, this is how it is. We fight and we make up, and life goes on. So alhamdulillah, and what happened? By the way, I didn't officially apologize. Well, I did apologize to you, but I also want to tell to the viewers that I do apologize for brother Muawiyah, Sheikh Muawiyah, what I've said. and that was uncalled for. Doing such a harsh dua on your brother is not something. Even if I was insulted, or I was whatever it is, I shouldn't do any dua like that to my dear brother. And so I
Alhamdulillah.
apologize for that. I apologize for not giving him a chance. Although I did say that I'm going to watch his videos, but mashallah, brother Muawiyah, I went onto his account, his YouTube account, and mashallah, he's like an encyclopedia about Bitcoin. So I'm like, wow, is this guy going to give me if I watch all this? Because this is so much. This is like rich information, mashallah. And really, this is not a criticism, this is a praise. He's done his work, and he knows his business. And subhanallah, yani, I really wish and I pray that brother Muawiyah one day he can reach out to somebody who's knowledgeable, not on Instagram, do it on Instagram, but really somebody like Sheikh Sulaiman Hay or Sheikh Salih al-Fawzan, or the big guys, the big scholars. And he can tell them, and he channels or shares with them his knowledge. And so barakallah feek, and thank you so much for your efforts, and thank you so much for your good intention. I know you told me your intentions about your passion on Bitcoin, and mashallah, that's something beautiful. And I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to reward you for that.
I mean, وياك. Alhamdulillah. So I mean, I don't know if you've seen the fatwa of Al-Barrak, but he kind of
I have.
in summary kind of highlights a lot of the issues that were addressed. But like I said, like you mentioned before, the ulama, they have ikhtilaf. And I think what tends to happen is that us, the shabab, we're haris. We have hamas on certain things, and we want to have all the answers immediately. And sometimes these things take time. It takes time for the knowledge to disseminate, yes, to dilute into the psyche. And also, like you mentioned, which is very, 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 very important. You guys don't know about the Sheikh. When we spoke to him, when I spoke to him privately, he mentioned that it is nazila, meaning that it is something new. And it being new means there's no precedent, there's no salaf, there's nothing to draw from in the past. Therefore, it takes time for it to settle in the brain. I mean, it's even like things like, for example, the freezer. We take for granted we have a freezer. You put water in, it gets frozen, and it's done. But can you imagine someone who lived in the desert all his life, has never known cold water? Now there's a machine. You put money in, it comes ice. It's like, I'm not money, water in, it comes ice. It's like, كيف يعني هذا السحر يعني كيف you wonder to yourself. Or like the radio, you have I even heard stories of when they brought radios to some of the Bedouins, they thought it was sihr, that is this little box here is talking, and people, what is this thing, what's this jinn? So it takes time for things to settle in the mind. How does it function, how does it work, and increase that tasawwur, the understanding. And then if things improve and develop and change, and it changes, and if the factor remains the same, it is what it is. We accept it as it is. And as the Sheikh mentioned, if they make a mistake, they get one reward, and if they get it right, they get 2 rewards, and it is what it is. I mean, for us as the layman, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ, ask the people of knowledge if you don't know. So if you ask the people of knowledge and they give you their fatwa, if you're not confident with that fatwa, there are other ulama you can ask and ask them to give you their reasoning, their understanding, and we just try our best to, worship Allah upon ilm. But again, we don't want to make this discussion to Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, because the issue here I wanted to focus on was not, I didn't want to make this an issue, I'm gonna tell Faiz what about Bitcoin. It's not about that. It's about saying at the end of the day, whether he has the opinion that it's halal or not halal, we're still ikhwah. And I think that's something that is, I do see even on Twitter, that's sometimes lost. And there is a bit of an ism and a schism between people. Oh, you call Bitcoin this, and what's wrong with gold? And people get backwards and forwards. When at the end of the day, if you want to have Bitcoin, you have your own money, and you don't want to have it, khalas. كل شيء مباح. You do you, as they say in English. You do you, and I'll do me, innit? So, alhamdulillah, it's all good. Pardon?
I said I just want to add one thing to this, and this is about the subject you just mentioned. This is important. Yeah. People should understand this. And because I've fallen into a situation just like yours, or a situation that I can relate to. Can you guys? Is my voice okay? The sound is okay?
Yeah.
So, subhanallah, ya akhi, everybody should know and understand. Fiqh is an ocean. Bahar.
No.
And it's one who understands fiqh or wants to understand fiqh or studies fiqh or wants to read about it must understand that you have to have an open mind when you read about fiqh. SubhanAllah, and you said something it's really interesting and I think it's nice to share. When cigarettes were introduced to us and invented, the ulama at the beginning said it's mubah. It's mubah. Why? Because they didn't understand what cigarettes were. They didn't have the technology or the knowledge or the doctors, the experts telling them exactly what it is. Because the doctors themselves didn't know. And so people said it's mubah. The ulama said it's fine. Al-asl fil umur al-ibaha, al-hil. For everybody, we're smoking. Till this day, I tell you. Till this day, there are some scholars, I don't want to mention names and I don't want to say from where, not from Saudi, but from somewhere. They smoke, they say, I don't see that's haram. Why? Because the information were not passed to them. Just like photography. All this day we have students of knowledge following the fatwa of Sheikh bin Baz, haram. All photography, everything's haram. Brother, can I take a selfie with you? Hey, no, it's haram. And we know, alhamdulillah, photography, it's something else. Maybe the ulama, they did not, the explanation of photography was not conveyed to them in a proper way. And so this fatwa came out. We say to the ulama, well, these guys don't know anything. Let's be careful. This is also one of the traps of the shaitan. Al-ulama warathatul anbiya. They inherit this ilm. And wallahi, the barakah, even though they make mistakes, they're humans in the end. We don't say they're angels. They make mistakes. With their mistakes, they are our barakah and they are our stars. And they will lead us to the proper ilm, to the sunnah, to all that. So yes, the ulama can make mistakes. And when I told Brother Muawiyah about me, I said I can't really discuss this matter with you. And one of the reasons is, wallahi, I'm not like trying to act or trying to put on like a humble personality or anything. Wallahi, I'm nobody. This is a nazila. When it comes to a nazila, I'm like, well, this is too much. That's why I said, guys, I've never done this. Like, if any matter I talk about on the internet, this matter, I said, guys, my reference is Sheikh Sulaiman al-Ruhaili. This is a nazila. I have no right talking about this. And mashallah, Brother Muawiyah, he has his homework and I'm sure that he's very knowledgeable about this. I'm nobody towards him. He's gonna come and explain this to me. I'll probably say, what is this guy on about? I don't understand what you're saying. And mashallah, you told me that you sat 7 hours with a scholar. 7 hours with a scholar. Like, wow, this subject needs 7 hours? That's just big. I like, my mind might not even kill.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
give each other a chance to like.
It's such a thing to. It's psychologically, it's difficult to, like I said, like the issue of the fridge or the radio. It takes. I mean, how is this little box receiving sound and speaking? I mean, it takes time to get your head around it and have that correct soul. So I mean, it is what it is. But one thing you mentioned as well, which I think is really important as well. I just want to expand just a little bit on what you said, and that is the hukum. Sometimes, because especially the awam, the layman, they'll say that they might hear a sheikh say, "Oh, this is haram," and the layman will think, "Wait, why is it haram? It's just a box, or it's just a jihaz, or it's just a thing. Why is it haram?" And they don't realize that maybe the reason for the tahrim isn't dhatuhu, isn't the thing itself. It's what it leads to, or the wasila. It's something else. And that's, for example, like I'll give an example of when I was in Saudi in the early noughties in 2001, 2, 3. Phones that had Bluetooth were prohibited because of the religious council. They forbade phones that had Bluetooth in it. Now we think of this, that's ridiculous. Why is phones with Bluetooth prohibited? But it was what the shabab were doing with it. Back in the day, the youth, the boys, they will use it to send their numbers to girls and talk to girls in the shopping centers via Bluetooth. So it wasn't because of Bluetooth, it was because of what the shabab were using it for. And they had to go through a process of finding that middle ground where the culture can catch up with the technology. Just because you have new technology doesn't mean that the culture can just adopt it and accept it. Sometimes they can be abused by the shabab. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes a thing could be made haram not because of the actual thing, but because of ilal or reasons that the scholar might see will come from that thing. Does that make sense? So that's something for people to sometimes look at when they see what ulama say. But yeah, jazakallah khair, brother, for joining us today. I think a lot of people are going to be happy to see you. Happy to see there's muhabba and love, obviously. And like I said, I think everyone should take this message that just like we have this reconciliation here, that can happen with all of you guys. So in your lives, think of someone in your family or in your neighbors or in your life. Maybe have an ism with them and ask yourself, is it necessary? Maybe you can just call them up and say, you know what, brother, let's just forget it. Let's just be brothers. We don't have to be best friends, but we don't have to have issues, you know. I mean, there was one brother who didn't get along with me in Saudi when I was there back in 2008. But about 10 years later, a friend of mine said, oh, he's working in Riyadh with me. I said, oh, mashallah, give him my salams, you know, baligh as-salam. So he told him, assalamu alaikum, and he said, khudhu. That was 10 years later. So I hadn't seen this person for 10 years, but he held that into him for 10 years that now I'm giving him salam. He's like, khudhum. So this is what we need to remember. That shaitan is haris alaykum, haris, to cause division, to cause enmity. There's no need. You don't have to be someone's best friend. You just have to be Muslim, ikhwa. And I think that's a nice message to take from this, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
And I just want to also just quickly add on this, guys. And what brother Muawiyah said about fights or quarrels or any division, do it for the sake of Allah. Do it for the sake of Allah. You don't know, maybe you fix a relationship between you and a brother. Wallahi, this can be a reason for you to enter Jannah. Allah maybe will forgive and erase many of your sins and wrongdoing. It's an investment. It's a trade. Allah, I will do this for your sake, and my شو يسمونه الكرامة. You know, you do it for the sake of Allah. Humble yourself down, put yourself a little lower, and do it for the sake of Allah. Allah will erase your sins with these things. This is the beautiful trait about it. So it's very important that we fix the intention when we do these things. No, he might put me down. He might insult me. He might, Habibi, you're not doing it for him. You're doing it for you and for Allah to forgive you, because we have done so much sin, and وإحنا مقصرين, and we need every single little thing that we do to get us closer to Jannah. This is the whole idea.
No. Jazakallah khair, bro. Jazakallah khair for this, inshallah. I'll let you get back to your family, inshallah, and your family. Jazakallah khair and for coming with us. And always remember us in your du'as, brother. And if you want to ever buy Bitcoin, let me know, innit?
Take his fatwa, not mine. I don't have fatwa, but brother Muawiyah is here. He got your back.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Hayakum Allah, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. So, alhamdulillah, we had Sheikh Faiz here. I'm going to stay around. I'm going to linger around for a bit, just for like 5-10 minutes. If anyone has any questions, then you're welcome to come here. Please keep your comments nice and respectful. And remember that this is an opportunity for all of you to reflect on your own lives and how you can improve your relationship with others in your lives as well. Spread the love at the end of the day. Spread the love. And there you go. Najib.exe. Why don't you have an Apple Mac, brother? Why still with Windows? Najib. Alhamdulillah. Anyone have any questions or anything else? Or want to say something? Okay. Someone said to me, do I have any plans? Sorry, apologies. Do I have any plans to sit down with any of the mashayikh in the future, such as Simon Haley or anyone else? So I should have done that. That was bad manners, eating on the camera. It's funny because when I was in Saudi, it's an issue of culture. When I was in Medina University, every time I'll go to the cafeteria for lunch, I'll bring my food back to the classroom and eat. And then teachers will come in and say, are you going to share the food with all of us? What if you're not going to do that? Why go back to the cafeteria? In my head, I couldn't get around the idea that you have to eat in the cafeteria. But in Saudi, You don't eat in the classroom. So that was a cultural thing. And I guess here, you don't eat in people's face in the camera. Yeah, do I intend to sit down with some sheikh? Now, Wallahi al-Azim, Allah is my witness. Any sheikh who wants to sit with me, I will give him hours. I will spend days with him. I will spend weeks with him. If he wants to sit down, I don't mind. I have no issues with it. Unfortunately, what I found is that whenever I've offered, the offer's never been taken up. Only once, I was invited to a sit-in. It was with Haytham and Haddad. This was in 2017. Me and a few other brothers sat down with the sheikh. I wasn't the main person delivering. I was just invited because I knew something. But the main person they brought was one of the developers for Ethereum. So he came and he tried to explain to the sheikh. With all due respect, the guy who came, he's a techie guy. So he was a bit techie in his explanation and didn't really break it down. And so therefore we tried to jump in, tried to help the sheikh understand it. And we were there for literally, like the Robert said, we were there for like 7 hours trying to explain how it works. And I think that was the first time I realized how difficult the concept is to someone who is absolutely a noob, doesn't have any idea about Bitcoin or technology. Sorry, not to put someone down. I'm not putting the chef down. I'm saying someone who's not a tech person. Me, I'm a tech person. Before I was even in college, I had built my own computer. I'd already learned how to code. I was already doing that stuff when I was in secondary school. So I'm already in the field of technology. But imagine someone who might even struggle with email or might have an issue with lots of things. And then telling them about Bitcoin and money on the internet and then mining and then blocks and then this and that. It's a bit, it's a bit much to take in. And then when you've been to my YouTube channel, you'd see I have over 100 videos explaining so many things. And there's no two videos that are the same. Over 100 videos, I still got so much more to deliver and no two videos are the same. So there's so much to cover. And it's going to take time for people to understand. Back to the point. The question was, would I sit with any sheikh, even the Sheikh Al-Ruhaili? I would, yeah. But like I said to you, I literally have tried communicating directly through emails, through messages, directly by speech. And most people are not interested. And unfortunately, even some have been a bit hostile. It is what it is. So my stance has now become, whoever wants to speak to me, you can give me a call. I have a booking on my website. Just book my time and I'll chat to you. But if that doesn't exist, then I just move on. My idea, my position now is I'll educate whoever wants to listen. So that's the answer to that one. Ustad, I wanted to ask you about staking. I have a video coming out about staking very soon. Listen, brother, I need your help. So you have no fiat. I want questions, man. Come on, give me some proper questions. What other coins, blah, 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 Bitcoin, haram, did you accept Bitcoin being halal? Did you? No, we haven't discussed it. I have been trying to contact the Dawah man for a long time. I don't know how to help you there. Okay, how about look at Abu Ibrahim? Again, he's an individual I've tried to speak out, reach out to him to have a discussion about other topics and he refused. So tell him, speak to him. If you're in contact with Abu Ibrahim, say to him, speak to Brother Muawiyah, he's waiting for you to chat to him. Fair enough, but I'm not chasing it after anyone anymore. I've done that already. I've done my part and no one wants to listen. I missed the majority of the live. It'll be saved. Speak Arabic, but most of you speak English. Not related. There's a weekly classes anytime soon on Al-Madab. Very soon, actually. We're actually trying to organize something for gatherings for Muslims. So very soon, inshallah, we'll have something in Al-Madab soon. What would you plan on making your own coin? No way. Stick to Bitcoin. What do I make my own coin for? What purpose would it serve? If I get accepted to Saudi, I'll try to get you in, bro. Inshallah, anytime. But don't hold your breath, I'm telling you. Haytham Haddad is an Ikhwani and shouldn't be sat with, even in this topic, Ya Ustad. Why? Why would I not sit with someone to educate them and advise them on something? That doesn't make sense. Someone being an Ikhwani doesn't forbid them from getting advice when they listen to the advice. I mean, doesn't make no sense. In fact, actually, the ulama, when I studied in Saudi with the ulama, the likes of Sheikh Ubaid and Sheikh Ibn Hayli and Sulaiman ibn Hayli, all the rest of them, they have been asked plenty of times, and I've heard it myself from my own ears, that if a person from Ahlul Bid'ah is open to listen to you, speak to them. Why not? As for teaching others on their platform along with them, that's a different discussion. But this wasn't an open discussion. This was a closed meeting. I was invited, and I explained to him. If I'm able to help him give the right fatwa, then why not? Bitcoin is haram. Okay. Justify a haram. Yeah, I will justify it because I believe it's not. And call, jealousy, and leave. I don't know what it means. How do you calculate zakat each year on your crypto wallet? Simple. Whatever Bitcoin you have, 2.5% of it, zakat. Done. I think I will leave it there. What time is it? Yeah, I think I'll leave it there. Shall I leave it there? Shall I leave it there? I don't know. Do you guys have any more questions? Hassan wants to go on live. Okay, I'll take. Okay? So one person says, "Do you haven't answered my question?" What is your question? I don't know what your question is. What's your question? Please answer my question. What is your question? Do you want to search for it? Write it again. Write it again. Do you hope people set up Bitcoin as a payment system as part of your calls? I don't know what that means. As part of my calls? I don't know what that means. As in get paid Bitcoin to call me, you mean? If that's what you mean. That already exists in a way. Please save this live. Yeah, I want to save it. Like I said, I want to save it. Hassan, I think Hassan wants to join on the live. So let's take one live. Let me stop eating the apple and being rude, munching in your ear. What's the next part of the Bitcoin course coming out? Very good point. I was actually gonna advertise that one, and then I got distracted. You know what? I actually have a life that I'm trying to balance along with all these free content. So I will soon, inshallah. When is it? I invited Brother Hassan on the live. Why is not coming on live? Come then. I accepted your invitation, Sheikh Hassan. If Hassan doesn't come on the live, I'm going. So that's it. I'm gonna go in 10 seconds. If Hassan's not coming on the live. So if I have to go, then blame Hassan. Find him and make him pay. Is unable to join. Oh, failure. Assalamu alaikum. I post daily Islamic reminders and quotes. It would mean the world if you can drop a follow. May Allah bless you. DM me, brother, and I'll do it. I can't do it here. I don't think so. Like silver equals silver. Nah, man. A man with issues in usul how can we discuss issues of fiqh with him? You don't see his gate as fatwas. You don't see his fatwa. I guess that doesn't mean. He has other major issues to fix than Bitcoin. Yeah, I don't deny that, but that wasn't. I didn't make the meeting. The meeting was made beforehand. I was just invited to attend. As you have to understand, brother, this was something that was already organized. It was already happening. I just heard that was happening. Someone said, "Why don't you come on board?" So I said, "Okay, why not? I'll come on board," and I came on board. It wasn't like I sat there and said, "Yeah, Sheikh, let's chat." So there you go. Let's have a live.